Max Homa's golf swing is easy to love. The club moves in nice clean lines, and the movement itself just looks so natural. But in pointing out the stuff that we like, it's easy to overlook the key concept which transformed Max's game and his golf swing. And it's a concept that you should know, because it's what makes beautiful golf swings like this look and feel so easy. So let's take a closer look. Max Homa probably has my favourite golf swing on tour right now, and it's not hard to see why. Even Max's idol Tiger Woods likes his move.
I like his move.
Right side of the green.
Short, compact. Yeah.
Max Homa's golf swing has always been really pretty to the eye, and it helped him become a good player. A really good player. A top junior golfer turned top college golfer and PGA Tour winner. But he wasn't a great player, not yet anyway. That's because his golf swing, for as good as it looked, never produced the truly elite results that he craved. In Max's first 2 seasons on tour, he finished 106th and 87th in strokes gained tee to green. But then, something changed, and he jumped, up to 69th, and then 24th, and then 15th in strokes gained tee to green. So, what happened? It happened in 2020, when Homa linked up with future Golf Digest #1 ranked teacher in America, Mark Blackburn. When Mark and Max first joined forces, the first thing they did wasn't going to the range, but going to a gym. That's because Blackburn ran a Titleist Performance Institute assessment on Homa, which is a kind of test coaches do on golfers' body. It helps them figure out what golfers can and, crucially, can't do. And when they did this on Max, they found something very interesting. Max, he had trouble doing this test, which is called the lat test. Golfers sit up against the wall like this, hold their arms out straight, and then try to raise their arms until they can touch the wall behind their heads. This wasn't easy for Max. He struggled to put his shoulders into flexion, Blackburn said, which meant it wasn't easy for Max to raise his arms above his head. Put simply, Max didn't have quite as much flexibility in his shoulders as other PGA Tour players.
So what we did is we screened Max and looked at how he moved. And for Max, he really struggles with what we call shoulder flexion, or getting his arms above his head, his lat mobility. So what we've done, and you can see here when he was with us in November doing a data capture, we've tried to get the lead arm to be more in line with the shoulders and use a little bit of a steeper shoulder plane to elevate the club.
This kind of limited shoulder mobility is actually really common in amateur golfers, especially if you sit slouched at a desk all day. Try this test yourself, and it might reveal something interesting about your own golf swing. When it came to Max's golf swing, it caused him some minor issues that ultimately, they were costing him that tiny bit of consistency he was seeking. Homa used to work hard on trying to get his arms up on the backswing, which again was difficult for him to do. And then, once the club did get up, he needed to get the club and his arms back down, which again wasn't much easier. Because his shoulders lacked that little bit of range and motion, this up-down movement was hard work for Homa. Like someone with tight hamstrings trying to reach for their toes, Homa's body would start making other moves in order to help him do it. Blackburn says Homa's hips often would begin thrusting subtly towards the ball on the downswing, a move you might know as early extension.
If you're standing up, moving towards the ball, not a lot of good stuff's going to happen, right? You really got 2 choices. You're either, because your lower body's standing up, it invades the space for your arms, and now the club either is going to push the ball out to the right, or you're sick and tired of pushing it, all of a sudden you flip it around and now you hook it.
This is a common move in golfers who lack a little bit of flexibility in their shoulders. That's because it's hard to raise and lower your arms without getting too steep. So to avoid this, players instinctively move their hips and body towards the ball, which makes it easier for their arms to drop in behind. But the downside is it's really easy to overdo this move, to move your body too much towards the ball and leave your arms stuck way too far behind your body. The only way out of this is to flip and roll your wrists really hard to save it. In Max's case, it was a minor move, but even that small compensation just wasn't that consistent. Blackburn calls this Max's planing mechanism, and it was off, because it didn't match what Max's body could do best. So, Max began hitting the gym hard to improve this shoulder mobility with the help of highly regarded trainer Colby Wayne. and he and Blackburn began making a few technical tweaks to his golf swing. First, the pair added a little bit more upper body tilt and hip hinge at setup, so his chest was a little closer to the ground. Max is so methodical about this that if you look closely, you can actually see him doing it before every single shot, with his upper body tilted more down. Next, Mark wanted Max to get his arms deeper and more around his body on the backswing. You can see the difference here. It's slight, but look closely and it is there, and it is important. Before, Max's arms and club shaft would move more vertically. Now, his club is more in line with his left arm, and his left arm itself intersects with his right shoulder. It makes a lot of sense why. Max had trouble moving his arms up and down. That was difficult, but he could move his arms around. That felt easy and really natural. When Max was working hard to get his arms up towards the sky, he needed to thrust his hips to bring them back down. But when he moved his arms more around, it allowed Max to stay in his posture. Instead of trying to waste his energy undoing something, now he could turn aggressively through. It helped Max gain speed, accuracy, and most importantly, consistency. In each of his last 2 seasons, Max has now featured in the top 25 in strokes gained tee to green. Now, his golf swing feels so easy that Max describes himself as levitating at the top of his backswing. A small singular moment before turning aggressively through. What started as a slight physical limitation has now unlocked the secret to Max Homa's golf swing. It's created one of the most attractive and consistent moves in the game. But the next time you watch it, remember that the secret to his success wasn't in trying to perfect another player's golf swing or find something completely new, but rather to master something of his own, to discover something that was actually right there all along.